Last year, Whitney's limited parking created many problems for students. With over 500 permits sold, students felt cheated when they arrived at school with a permit yet still couldn't find a parking spot. This year, ASB tried to fix the problem.
We oversold last year, so we had a lot of parking issues where people couldn't get spaces when they got to school. So we didn't want that to happen this year, so we sold for how many spaces we have in the parking lot.
However, this did not solve the problem. People without a permit felt they could still park in the lot without getting caught, leaving the students with permits angry and without a place to park.
People without parking passes park in the parking lot, and there's nowhere for people like me with parking passes to park, so that really irritates me.
I think what's happening now is people are just parking without a permit in the parking lot. So we're just trying to figure out, like I said, we're going to be going randomly to do citations, so just so everyone knows, that they need to make sure they have their permit.
When those with a permit were forced to find an alternative, Whitney's parking problem became the residents of Abilene Circle's problem.
It has gotten worse since we first moved in here. In the beginning, it was just a few cars and a few students, so it wasn't too bad. But there's a multitude of things, as we talked before about the language. There's also been some of my neighbors that said when the students come in, they'll make a U-turn on the turn right here if they're not looking behind them or paying attention, and there's sometimes cars behind them.
Because of neighbors' complaints, the Rockland Police Department decided it was time to get involved.
Well, originally what we started to do is they went through a process of putting signs up so that there would be no student parking allowed in the area.
Ironically, by putting up the signs on Abilene, the Rockland Police Department was the one at fault, because parking on a residential street is perfectly legal.
I bet you that probably somebody got ticketed and challenged it, and the city realized that they didn't really have a leg to stand on because they're parking legally on the street probably.
They put the signs up, then we determined that that was not going to work, so they were actually taken down, I think, the same day or the next day. We're currently still researching the issue. They may end up doing a permit process as far as everyone that parks in that neighborhood that lives there would have to have a permit, so if you don't have a permit, you get ticketed.
Signs were placed on Abilene and on Ranchview, and while the signs in Abilene came down, the ones on Ranchview stayed up. So all of the traffic that used to be along this street has now moved into the neighborhood, making it even more congested than it was before.
I actually kind of think that because the signs along Ranchview are still there, that probably actually made it worse in here, because there was some students parking along Ranchview, and those students are not able to park there now, so there's probably more students coming in here now than there were before.
While parking on Abilene is no longer illegal, law enforcement encourages student drivers to leave their car up here at the park and make the short walk down to campus in order to avoid upsetting the neighbors.
If you are going to park in Abilene or in Stage Line, just please be careful. Don't park in front of fire hydrants, don't speed. Just be respectful of the people that live there.
Reporting for WCTV 19 with photographer Katie Palin, I'm Amanda Carlson.